The objective today is to divide fractions. But how do we divide fractions? To understand better division of fractions, we need to understand what is a reciprocal or a multiplicative inverse. Two numbers are reciprocals of each other if their product is 1. The reciprocal of a fraction is when you flip the numerator with the denominator. So let's check this example. The reciprocal of 3/4 is 4/3. We are just flipping the numerator with the denominator. And if I do this product, if I multiply them, I must get a 1. So let's check. If I multiply 3/4 times 4/3, I must get a 1. Remember, when you multiply fractions, you multiply straightforward numerators and denominators. I have a video just explaining multiplication of fractions. I am going to leave it here in the description if you want to go and check it out. So 3 times 4, that will be 12. 4 times 3, that will be 12. If you simplify this fraction, you will get that 1. So I check that the reciprocal of 3/4, when I multiply it, gives me that 1. So, in other words, the reciprocal is just flipping the numerator by the denominator. So, if I tell you find the reciprocal of 2/5, the answer will be 5/2 because you just flip the numerator with the denominator. What about the reciprocal of 1/4? So, following the same rule, flip numerator and denominator. That will be 4/1. 4/1 is just 4 wholes. So, that will be 4. What about the reciprocal of 7? Well, 7 is a whole number. So, if I want to flip the numerator and the denominator, first I need to change that 7 to a fraction by writing it over 1. So 7/1 is 7 wholes. Now I do the reciprocal. I flip, so the reciprocal is 1/7. Now that we understand the concept of reciprocal, let's divide fractions. To divide a number, we multiply by its reciprocal. Multiplication and division are inverse operations. So, if we only multiply by the reciprocal, we are doing the same thing as dividing. So, let's try some examples. I want to divide 2/3 by 5/7. So, to divide 2/3 by 5/7, I need to multiply by the reciprocal of 5/7. In other words, the second fraction is the one that you need to do the reciprocal. So, 2/3 divided by 5/7 is equivalent as doing 2/3 times the reciprocal of 5/7, that is 7/5. And then you multiply as I showed you before. If you want to go and check that video about multiplying fractions, remember it's going to be here in the description. So, multiplying fractions is just straightforward. 2 times 7, that will be 14, and then 3 times 5, that will be 15. Check if you can simplify your answer. Well, 14 and 15 don't have a common factor except 1, so that will be my final answer. If you want to remember this method easily, I will give you a quick and an easy trick. Remembering these letters: keep, change, flip, KCF. Keep, change, flip. So, how do I use these letters to remember this method? So, keep the first fraction as it is, change the division symbol to a times symbol, and flip the second fraction. So, keep, change, flip. Let's try some other examples using KCF. So I need to solve this division. 4/5 divided by 2/3. So remember, using the letters K, C, F, keep, change, flip. What does that mean? That I keep the first fraction as it is. I change the division symbol to a times symbol, and the second fraction is the one that flips, or you do the reciprocal. So 3 over 2. Now you multiply these two fractions. Remember, you can multiply straightforward, or if you can simplify before multiplying to make your process simpler, you can do that. I also explained this method in that video of multiplying fractions that I am going to leave here in the description. So, I am finding two numbers that can be simplified. 4 and 2 both are divisible by 2. So I'm simplifying these two before multiplying. 4 divided by 2, that will be 2. 2 divided by 2, that will be 1. So I simplified before multiplying. Now I multiply 2 times 3, that will be 6. 5 times 1, that will be 5. So your answer is 6/5, or you can change it to mixed fraction. That will be 1 whole and 1/5. Any of these two will be a correct answer. What about 1 and 1/5 divided by 2/3? Remember that if you're working with fractions, you need a numerator and a denominator. So this mixed fraction needs to be converted to improper. I show you an easy method in my previous video about multiplying fractions, how you can change a mixed fraction to an improper fraction easily. So you multiply the denominator times the whole, you add the numerator, and that will give you the numerator of your improper fraction. So let's do that. 5 times 1, that will be 5, plus 1, that will be 6. 6 is your numerator, and the denominator stays the same because we're working with fifths. So 1 and 1/5 is the same as 6/5. So now that we have our fraction as improper, we can do our division. So I'm using those letters: keep, change, flip. So you keep the first fraction as it is. You change that division symbol to a times symbol, and you flip the numerator and the denominator of the second fraction, or you are doing the reciprocal. Okay, now that you have your multiplication, remember you can multiply straightforward or check if you can simplify any number, any pair of numbers before you multiply. I noticed that 6 and 2 both are even, so are divisible by 2. So I am going to simplify to make my process easier. 6 divided by 2, that will be 3. 2 divided by 2, that will be 1. Now I multiply straightforward. 3 times 3, that will be 9. 5 times 1, that will be 5. So the answer is 9/5, or you can change it to mixed fraction. So 9/5 is equivalent to 1 whole and 4/5. So any of these two will be a correct answer. Okay, so now is your turn. Open your notebook, take out a piece of paper, try to solve these problems on your own. You can pause this video now. Remember to use the tricks or the tips that I gave you. Try to use keep, change, flip. Simplify your answers, and then at the end of this video, I will give you the solution. Don't forget to like this video, share, and subscribe. Remember, if you have a specific objective that you want me to do, just tell me on my social media, Instagram and Twitter, Numeritos TV, or you can write me an email. Bye-bye.